facilitated through the Royal Grenadier Police Force. So we say good morning and welcome to our viewers on television, Channel 7 and Channel 11, Channel 20 if you are in cable, and those of you that's in Classic 105.5 and 105.9 on the FM band. We say good morning to you and welcome to the televised edition of the Morning Buzz. And this morning we're speaking about cyber security. What is cyber security? How do we keep our children safe? How do we keep ourselves in the know as it relates to what's happening online, the online world, that world that we call the virtual realm? And it's interesting that, years ago we spoke about the virtual realm. It seemed almost abstract. While it is, in many parts, it is as real as it is. And certainly with the advent of COVID-19, it has thrust us into a new dimension where a lot of what we do, it is now focused on online application, whether it's learning, commerce, whatever it is happening online. But today we want to focus on cybersecurity. How do we keep our children safe? This morning, we have an expert on cybersecurity, Joanne Mark. She's linking us from the U.S., and she comes with a wealth of experience and knowledge on the whole conversation of cybersecurity. And we'll also be joined from the team from the Community Relations Department, Corporal Sandy and her team. And we want to say thanks to them for being part of this morning's conversation. So, good morning to you, Corporal Sandy. How are you? Good morning to you, Lady Sandy. I'm not sure she's hearing me. She's looking at me. 5 minutes gone past the hour. I know I have I was my cybersecurity expert, who is Joanne Mark. Good morning, Joanne.
Good morning to you. Good morning, Grenada.
And how are you?
Okay, I'm trying to cool in this heat.
Trying to be cool in the heat. Thank you for accepting the invitation to be part of today's conversation. And it's almost 2 weeks in the making, 3 weeks in the making, and we're happy that we're here. Today, of course, as you can appreciate, the conversation surrounds cyber security in the context of how do we keep our children safe. The reality is, though, Joanne, that very often when we talk about the cyber world, it is a virtual world. When it is virtual, it is as real as ever. Simplified for us, what, of course, encompasses and makes up this world that we now being forced to interact with as adults and our children.
Okay, well, thank you. So cyberspace, a cyber world, just means all of the computers, all of the electronic and satellite and communication devices that keeps us connected. So this cyberspace, that term was formed years ago by someone who just referred to all of the gadgets, the web, the satellites, all of the things that can make us connected in the world, especially as it relates to computers. So that's what cyberspace refers to. And like you say, it's real, right? It's no longer a gadget or a toy. It's here to stay. It's the way we learn today. It's the way we compute today. And a lot of people do online learning. And some of us, because of COVID-19, as you said, are forced into this online learning. And even doctors, traditional doctors, are now forced into telemedicine. So the thing is, we have to get aboard the ship, because whether we like it or not, we're forced to come into the cyber world, forced to come into this space. Teachers are forced to teach that way. And I think, maybe some educational institutions should maybe give courses to teachers on how to teach via online, because online learning is different from homeschooling. So it's a whole new realm for teachers. It's a whole new realm for doctors. For young children, it's challenging for parents, and we're challenging for a lot of us. So the thing is, because they're spending more time online, there's more opportunity for them to get into trouble or be harmed online. So hence, that's why we have this program today. It's not all encompassing, because the field of cybersecurity is broad and it's deep. But we'll talk about some key things that parents, guardians, teachers, and students can do to keep safe online. That's what we're going to cover today.
Great, wonderful, wonderful. Right, so let's start talking about some of those. In your introduction, you talk about the different tools, and many of which we cannot see. But of course, we have our tablets or different devices that we interact with on a daily basis, and we want to focus in specifically on keeping our children safe in this virtual realm.
Right. So I always I like to educate the parents because the parents have to know how their children are using tools online. Like you said, they have computers, they have tablets, they have uh, cell phones, they even have gadgets and gizmos like watches, right? So a parent might say, "No, I'm taking away your your cell phone as punishment," but guess what? That kid is still online and they're still getting phones calls via their watch or some other means. So the parents, as they know how your kids use these tools, know the sites they use in terms of know something about social media. That's where kids spend a lot of time. Of course, they talk a lot on the phone, they text a lot. What does texting mean? And how to keep them and how to track them. And for safety reasons, I say parents, on these cell phones, there are tools that you can have, even some of the phones natively, like location finder. You can track the location, tie their phone to yours, so you could know where they are in terms of geographic. But there are third-party tools that you can download, apps that you can track all of their footprints online. You can see all the phone calls that are coming to and from that device. You can see all the text messages that are coming. Some of them you can, if you pay for a service, they can give you the exact message. Some of them will just tell you a message came in at that time, a message sent out at that time. Again, it depends on how granular you want to get. But as parents, you should monitor your children online. For when you have a computer in the house, I tell people as much as possible, keep it in a common area so you can see what they're doing. For But again, just like you have rules, because you can't monitor them 24 by 7, and you have rules in your home and how kids are supposed to behave. You have rules on how they're going to behave when they walk in the street and how when they're in school. So too must you have rules for how and when they use the computers, right? Anybody who has a device must give you their password. They can't have a password to the phone or a password to a site that the parent can't have. You make sure you have that and make sure they don't share it with anybody else but you. But the parents should have access or must have access to all of the sites and tools that the children go to and get and know how they use the computer. And you establish a code of conduct. And things like we know today, you hear a lot of stories about cyberbullying, kids bullying others, and sometimes to the point where they make an awful decision. So ask your kids and make sure your kids don't cyberbully. If they're being cyberbullied, how to report it. They report it to the school, they report it to the parents, and you have to take action on that. Make sure your kid is not being cyberbullied, or there's not cyberbullying. And I tell kids too, and this one is for kids, when you get a friend might share you something, right? They might send you an image, and they send you something that they think is funny. Well, it might be funny to them, but it's not, but legally there might be consequences, right? If that picture has explicit or naked children, that might be considered child porn. You don't want to be a registered sex offender because somebody sent you something and it's caught on your phone. So ask the person not to send you that type of information. And if they continue to, you block them. So you as a young person, I know today everybody's looking for the most likes and everybody's looking to be the most popular online. And there's this term they call FOMO, fear of missing out. Everybody wants to know what's going on and what's in the know on cybersecurity. But you don't need to know that. Okay, you don't need to be in everything. You don't need to have people like what everything you say. If you say something, they say think. Is it true? You know, is it is it true? Is it kind? Is it informative? You know, you don't just put things out there. I tell myself, if I can't share it with my mom or my sister or someone, you know, my superior, I'm not going to put anything out there. You might find it funny. It might be offensive to someone's religion. It might be offensive to them personally or a member of their family. So again, there are legal consequences again to having certain things on your phone. And so you don't get in trouble with the law. Make sure you don't share it. If you share it, it's like you originated from you. There's no difference. Don't share information that is questionable. Again, there are laws on these things. But,
and certainly, Joanne, while you're there, there's two things I want us to touch on. And of course, we are going to get our friends from the Community Relations Department to speak on the laws locally that governs those sort of activities. But you spoke about cyberbullying, being the bully, being bullied. What are some of the things that one can be engaged in that could qualify them as being either being bullied or being the bully?
Right. One thing, sharing information, posting information about someone. Sometimes it's not even true, and even if it's true, if it's offensive or they'll find it offensive, don't post it. If someone say you hear something, or even if you have a picture, if you have evidence of it, if you know it's going to be hurtful or embarrassing to that person, don't share it. Again, sometimes these things you might find it funny, but it's so hurtful to the victims that they make the worst possible decision that you can think of.
Do you often get the sense that, and it takes a measure of education, both on the part of children and the part of even more so parents, in two contexts. One, that the children seem to be, not in most cases, they're way advanced than the parents in terms of what's happening, and even on both ends, where because it is quote unquote a virtual realm, and we do not necessarily allows us for physical, intimate touching, that we think that what I do or say doesn't matter, and we tend to be a little bit more free in terms of what we say, how we communicate, because there's a physical person there.
Right. And it's their world, right? For the most part, a lot of times parents live in it, right? So they're so much more tech savvy than the parent. And that's why in the beginning I said parents have to force themselves to come up to speed. Of course, the kids will always be a step ahead. That's why I said they have to establish rules and codes of conduct, right? So there are new, I'm a technologist, and there's so much new technology coming all the time. I can barely keep up. So obviously a parent gonna be challenged. But again, you have to limit the time that they spend online for their own health. There are other, besides the fact that they're, online might be doing things that are not productive, there are health consequences, right? If you sit too much in a sedentary way, you're not going to get the young person. You need to be physically active. You're going to be deficient of some social skills, right? Being able to interact with people in person. I see kids next to each other and they text each other instead of talking to each other. They have this, and there are people what you call trolls. They're online just going around, they might have anonymous logins, and they're just making offensive things for the sake of hurting people. So make sure, again, that's why you have to have rules of conduct. You have to be kind when you say something. Think before you post. Think before you say. Is it kind? Is it hurtful? Is it intelligent? Why are you posting it, right? I mean, I too sometimes I might, I have a political slant, and if I hear someone might say something about a candidate I like, I might set them straight. But if I see that person is using offensive language, I'll just let it go, right? If you want to have an intelligent conversation with me about a political or a bias or a situation or the way I feel about something, let's have that conversation. But it has to be an intelligent conversation between two people, and that's the way you tell your kids to engage online. If you're going to engage with someone, think of it, you having a college or a school debate. You're part of that debate team. And you're not going to stoop low and just start to use offensive language. That doesn't tell me anything about your intellect. That doesn't tell me anything about your expertise on the subject matter. So when you're posting things online or you want to share something, again, it has to be appropriate. Again, and you said we talked about laws. In absence of laws, we have to use good judgment, right? Way before the laws came out about seatbelt security, I always worry about wearing my seatbelt in New York State. I always wear my seatbelt, right? Because I know it's for my own safety. So certain things you don't need the law to beat you up over the head over. You should use good judgment. And that's what we have to teach our kids to do, right? Because I knew, for instance, when I was growing up in Grenada, and my grandmother told us to do something and not do something, we feared her so much that even when she was not around, we knew we had to obey her rules. And your kids have to obey your rules. Otherwise, they can get themselves in serious trouble, even more so than outside of the cyberspace.
On the issue, Joan, of good judgment, and I'm happy that you've mentioned that. 70 minutes gone past the hour, and welcome, of course, to the mid-morning buzz. Speaking here with cybersecurity expert Joanne Mark. Joanne, on the issue of good judgment, young people in particular, the teenagers, they seem to adopt a que sera mentality when it comes to how they engage social media. So whether or not it be Facebook, they treat these applications as though it's their personal diary, as though there's no regards as to or no consideration to who or what or where these images are going. In the context of their own security, put that in context for me, the risk that they're exposing themselves to.
Okay, great. There are so many risks. Let's talk about if I today, young people, when you're young, you think you're invincible. Let's say, for instance, you want to get into college or you want to go for a certain job. You think your employer at that institution is not looking at your online footprint? They're looking, again, your resume will tell me your education. It will tell me your work experience. It doesn't tell me your character. I'm looking for someone of a certain character to be part of this institution because I don't want them to behave that way when they come online. So the consequences is it may cost you your job, it may cost you from getting into a certain college. So those are the kinds of consequences. Not to mention, if you post certain things about yourself, explicit information about yourself, there are people online, there are what you call pedophiles or people out to harm young people specifically, sexual offenders. And they're savvy and they're good at what they do. They know how to talk to you. They might send you a picture of someone your age. They'll do their homework. They'll do their reconnaissance. You post too much information about yourself. You put your year, your birth, your school, your birthday. They get a sense of where you're from. They get a sense of your age. They can see your friends. They might even look at your friends. Trust me, they do their homework. They are criminals. They're professionals. They're good at what they do. And they can lure you into meeting them. They can lure you into divulging information. Some of them would even create a profile of someone that you know. Let's say, for instance, I'm friend with Sandy on Facebook. I'm going to go ahead and I'm a sicko. I'm going to go online and create another profile of Sandy, download all her Facebook information, create an Instagram page, right? I'm going to invite you to that Instagram page. I'll ask you to meet me. You think you're meeting Sandy. You're not. You're meeting a criminal. You're meeting a pedophile, someone who can harm you. So all of those things I tell people. If someone sends me an invite, I always check out of band. That means away from the computer. I might pick up the phone and say, did you send me that invitation? Okay, before I accept your friend request. Because you don't know who you're meeting with. You don't know who you're friending. So again, you think you're young, you think you're invincible. There are people, sickos out there to harm people, especially children. Employers are looking at your character. Schools are looking at your character. So all of these people are doing their reconnaissance on you. So that's the reason that you have to keep your online profile in good standing.
And so much that has to be done in what was not just a couple years ago, seemed to be a safe haven for young people. The issue of parents keeping their children safe, antiviruses, pop-up blockers. Talk to us about some of those applications that can be used, different tools that parents and end users can engage to ensure that they keep their children safe.
Right. So if you're on the Windows platform, Microsoft has Microsoft Defender, and it has some of that. I personally use McAfee. They also have they can, in addition to having these pop-up blockers and antivirus programs, they also have certain keywords that they might block. And then some of them have parental control to help you block certain sites that, kids might, because listen, it's easy to find yourself on the wrong place online, right? I might be looking for Martin Luther King, the let's say the civil rights leader, and I might get Martin Luther, the Reformation leader, right? So you can look for one thing. It's easy for kids now, innocently, right, to find themselves in the wrong site based on a search result. So again, these tools, these antivirus, anti-malware. Malware is a broad term for malicious software. It could be viruses, Trojan horses, all of those things. So be aware of that. In your email, though, that's why you always have to use good judgment and always be on your defense. Because if I send you an email, I can what you call a phishing attack. Or if you do it by phone, you'll see a vision attack. If you do it by text, you'll see a smishing attack. What it is, I purport to be someone else. I say, I'll send you an email. It's a fish. Because when you fish, for instance, you throw a broad net, right? You don't catch every fish in the sea, but you'll catch a few. When you fish, send a broad email. I'll say, for instance, I know what school you go to. I'll send it to many kids. And I'll say, oh, log in here, reset your password, or log into your bank account. That we had I'll pretend to be let's say Chase Bank. Please, Chase Bank is telling you, please click here to reset your password. We had a situation where people's accounts were compromised. If someone sends you a link, and let's say you happen to have a Chase account, but people who don't have a Chase account, they might just ignore it. But if you do, you might say, oh, let me click on that link. Don't ever click on a solicited link. You should go into the browser and physically type the URL of your school, physically type the URL of your bank or whatever institution that person is trying to lure you to. Don't ever click. That's one way, because what happened, they'll download, and the same for whether it's in a phone or whether it's in a computer or tablet. What happened, they will download some kind of a keylogger or some kind of software that will capture your keystrokes going forward. So not only will they get information for that bank, but any site that you log into, they will have your information. They could then change your password for your site, and then they have the keys to the kingdom. So all of these things that you have to always be vigilant about. If you didn't solicit something and someone is being, sending you information, again, they might even come via phone. They might get your phone number, right? Just always be on the guard. Never divulge information. I know Grenada might have something like a citizen number, maybe like a social security number everybody will have. Be stingy with that, right? Don't give out that type of information. If someone might call me once, I got a call from, I think the person was calling from India. They said they're calling from Dell. And I just so happened to have a Dell computer, but all of a sudden my cyber defense kicked in. Why are you calling me? And what do you care?
Right.
And he only asked me for my IP address. And that IP address is like a phone number. Phone has a unique number. Every computer has a unique IP address. And that IP address is temporary, but it's still linked to your computer. So that we could give them your IP address, then they can get into your computer another way and cause all kinds of havoc, including against stealing information about you, about your friends, your contact information from your contacts, like your phone, like Gmail or Yahoo. They can steal your information from your Facebook and all of those information, and they'll go after those people. So
time is running, Joanne. But let me throw this at you. So we talk about the challenges of keeping safe, whether or not it's just through social media, whether it's just through browsing. I want us to talk specifically now to the parents, because of course we don't just learn online. We shop out. We live online. Let's talk to them about some of the do's and don'ts for the next 2 minutes in terms of the use sites you would choose to visit, in terms of where you shop and how you treat your personal information. For example, sites that would ask you whether or not you want to save your credit card number and those sort of things.
Right, I'm glad you brought to that. I don't even save my login name, much more my password. The browser will ask you that sometimes. The site will ask you that. Absolutely not. And what you have to be particularly careful about saving when you go to a website, some of them don't even ask you. You have to opt out. So when you go to your site and you put in your credit card number, they retain it. And very fine print at the bottom, you have to say don't retain it. So look for the don't. Tell yourself by default, once you give them your credit card and your login information, they save it. Now, sometimes you hear something like, oh, Sony's been hacked and 1 million accounts were exposed. Like, where did they get that 1 million account from? That's those people who went on that Sony site and bought something and didn't even realize their credit card and login information were being saved. So again, look out for that. When you go to a website, first of all, if you have a debit card is different from a credit card. A debit card is cash and they'll really take it out. Never use your debit card online. So, okay, never give them your bank routing number. First of all, I barely pay anybody by a check today. Because today, when you pay online, you just go and you give your bank routing number. Years ago, they would even ask you for the check number. Today, you can just take if you have somebody's routing bank, you can just go online and shop with it. So don't even give someone a check. Don't give someone your checking account number. Never use, like I said, a debit card. As far as the credit card goes, when you go for a site, make sure it has an HTTPS That S stands for security. The bar usually turns green. That is because it's using some security certificate. And that has a better level. Everything can be defeated. I'm not saying it can't. But that has encryption. That means it scrambles the data as it traverses to your computer to the website. So look for the things that are safe. Don't use your checking account number. Don't use the debit account number. And even when you're using your when I use a credit card, I use a credit card with a very small amount. Let's say 500 to 1,000. I won't use a credit card online that has $10,000 on it. So just in case it is compromised. Also know your bank policy in terms of if your card is online or if your account is compromised. What you know, what's the liability? Will they give you back part of it? Will they give you none of it? There was a story that made a lot of headline years ago where a woman, and I mean, that stuck with me. I felt so bad. She was an elderly woman, and she was not used to, you know, using online, maybe occasionally. So she was fished, and she approved that. I think it's over $100,000. It was a lot of money, her life savings, and she approved the transaction. So it led to a court because her story was the bank knows her habits, and she never did transactions online. She never transferred money, and because she lost, because the fact that she authorized the transaction, the bank was no longer liable. So understand in case how your bank is liable for things like, again, if your credit card is compromised, if someone, let's say, goes and they use your credit card, or they get into your bank account, find out what's their liability versus yours. Another thing one I'd like to mention about gaming, what people don't realize, a lot of times people play games online and you're playing with a friend and sometimes it takes money and you might tie a credit card to that. And that might be, you meant it for one time, but your credit card, because my son had my credit card online and he used to play. And once someone came at me and I guess I let the kid use the computer and he just played forever and I ended up with a huge bill. So even when playing games online and you give your credit card once, they retain it. And someone comes at you, or even your own kid, they can write quite a bill. So just be very, very careful online with your account. And again, know your bank, your credit card, know their policy regarding if that information is stolen or compromised, what your liability is versus theirs.
Great, thanks a lot, Joanne. And I'm hoping, of course, there's a lot of information that you've thrown at us here, and it's given us a lot of food for thought. And I'm certainly hoping that this can become an ongoing conversation between yourself and I. We have our friends from the community relations of the Royal Grenada Police Force. They're also part of this conversation. And before we wrap for today, I'm hoping, I think Corporal is still there with us.
Good morning. Yes, I'm listening.
You are there. What I wanted for you just to take the next 2-3 minutes, because of course speaking there with Joanne, coming from the U.S., there's a lot of laws out there that is in place to deal directly and protect end users. Talk to us locally. What is the laws that speaks to the issues of child pornography, that sort of thing?
Okay, we do have our Electronic Crimes Act 23 of 2013, which speaks to child pornography. That is section 12. Let me just get it here. And it says that a person shall not knowingly and without lawful justification or excuse publish or transmit or cause to be published or transmitted material in an electronic form which depicts a child engaged in sexual explicit act or conduct. Create text or digital images, collect, seek, browse, download, advertise, promote, exchange, or distribute material in an electronic form depicting a child in obscene or indecent or sexually explicit manner. Cultivate, entice, or induce children to an online relationship with another child or an adult for a sexually explicit act or in a manner that may offend a reasonable adult on the electronic system or facilitate the abuse of the child online. And I have been listening to Ms. Mark, and I know we've had some of these concerns back here in Grenada as relate to we have had persons charged for inducing children online in relationship with adults. We've had cases of that before. And we've also had persons transmitting video postings of children engaged in using obscenities and other things like that. And it's just befitting that as she spoke to that aspect of keeping children unsafe and children knowing what they should and should not be doing online, that we are grateful for that, because in truth and in fact, that the COVID-19 pandemic has opened up our children to the internet, spending more and more time online for education purposes. But besides that, as parents, we don't have to, before we used to worry about our children playing games online and watching videos, but now we have gone beyond that worry in that now that they're out there to do their online learning, the things that they may get engaged in, we may not be cognizant of it, right? So it's important that as parents or responsible guardians, that we are aware that our children online, they can be exposed to a lot of harm and a lot of danger. I mean, we've had the repealing of Section 6 of our Electronic Act, which spoke to sending offensive messages through communication services. So in that case, when we have persons like offensive language being exposed or there in the public online virtual space, we now have to go to our criminal code, as you would see in a recent posting after the Fort Judy incident. You had that gentleman using had a video posting sharpening his cutlass, and he had to be charged under the criminal code for that offense. So you'll find a lot of our offenses are now being taken from the criminal code wherever we can, in the absence of the Electronic Crimes Act, which would have been able to deal with that particular aspect.
Great, thanks a lot. We do appreciate the time. And this is a conversation, Corporal. I'm hoping that we can make that it can be continuous, that we'll, of course, spend more time and we give the general public an opportunity to be able to appreciate the laws that governs and all that it takes in order to keep our children safe. I've already gone 5 minutes over my time. I know my folks, Cammie's waiting. I do apologize for that, but I just wanted to make sure that we got that in. So I want to say thank you to the Royal Grenada Police Force, the Community Relations, Corporal Sandy, and your team, and Superintendent Kerwin. I want to say thanks to you, Joanne Mark, who is the cybersecurity expert out there in New York. We want to say thanks for being part of the program. We take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we head straight down to the south of the island, where we have Camellia Brown is waiting to bring us up to speed on everything that's happening down there at Real Value. Quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Greetings, everyone. I hope this message meets you and yours in the best of health as we join in encouraging all to act responsibly.
COVID-19 presents the most serious
and deadly challenge
any of us will experience in our lifetimes.
We must act now.
We need to keep the Caribbean safe.
We can all help to stop the spread of the coronavirus. Please stay at home.
So Caribbean people, please stay home.
Caribbean people, please stay at home.
Please stay home. It's that simple. This too shall pass, but for now, stay home.
Stay in your yard. Stay home, stay safe.
of you who don't know, this year marks our 20th anniversary as a supermarket serving Grenada, and we're excited about it. I mean, right now it's COVID time, so we know sometimes it can be a drag, and it's, like, you want to be excited, but sometimes you can't. But right now we should be excited.
Hi.
Okay, because in collaboration with Brighton and Miners, right now Real Value has a giveaway. And for me, a person who likes to cook and who likes to bake and who likes to be in the kitchen and stuff like that, this is exciting. It's awesome.
Great.
Right? So yeah, we're giving away, in collaboration with Brighton and Miners, a 30-inch Whirlpool stainless steel stove. 30 inches. And if you see this thing is big.
Thank you very much.
Right?
I appreciate it.
2 racks and everything. Like, I know, right? I want it. You know how much kegs that can hold?
Well, can you give away one to the general public and give one to me as your friend?
Yeah. No.
Nope. So tell me, how does one qualify?
Okay, all right. So what you need to do is just spend $20 or more at the supermarket.
For real?
And
only $20?
Yeah, $20. $20.
Right.
And all you need to do is include an IGA cornflakes, a box of IGA cornflakes, or you have 3 options. You have Nestle full cream UHT milk, Orchard orange juice, 100% juice in a 1 liter, and a Nestle full cream, Nestle low fat UHT. So you buy a cornflakes, IGA cornflakes, or Nestle full cream UHT milk, or Nestle low fat UHT milk, or Nestle orange juice.
Right.
And that's it.
And you're in with,
$20.
and you're in with a chance just by spending that $20.
In with a chance. So when you go to the cash register and you cash out, you get a slip. It asks you for your name, your contact number. If it's not there, you just write it in and you drop it in the box available at customer service. And it's so easy. I mean, like, that's like a $4,000 prize, and you spend $20.
And the draw is intended for when?
It's on the 17th of August. Our anniversary is August the 20th.
Okay.
So the draw is up until August the 17th. We'll draw the winner on August 18th, and just in time for our anniversary, and just in time for, I don't know, Christmas bacon.
Well, it will.
Christmas bacon in August.
Well, the way things are going these days, you might as well enjoy August, because God.
Well, I absolutely cannot believe that we're in July already.
I think the orders are really, honestly, just enjoy life as it comes, because you have no guarantee what's happening tomorrow. So I say go to Real Value IGA, pull out your $20, start the shopping. Get in with a chance of winning that big 30-inch stainless steel stove.
Exactly. And the thing is, like, you buy cornflakes, you have to buy milk, right?
Right.
They go together. Or if, you have children, you have to buy juice anyway. So why not make it IGA cornflakes and Nestle milk or the Orchard? So if you didn't intentionally go to buy that, go inside there with a purpose, because you could win a $4,000 valuable something that makes your kitchen look nice. Because if you see the thing is beautiful. I like it. I want it. I mean, unfortunately, it's for you guys.
You know what's the difference? My position is stronger than yours, because you want it, but I need it.
Yeah.
I need it.
Tears.
You don't have to cry on national TV.
Of course I can. I could cry anywhere once I have tears, but I don't have any tears. But another thing though, in addition to the stove, you also get a 7-piece pot set.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
So you get the stove and a pot set. It's almost like you're remodeling your entire kitchen.
That sounds like a perfect post-COVID-19 treat for any household.
I know, it makes me feel enthusiastic. Like, I'm enthusiastic. I'm pumped for this.
Yeah.
Like, you guys need to be pumped as well. It's only $20 for a $4,000 value, and it makes your kitchen look even more spectacular than it already does.
And it begs the question: what's the worst that could happen? And what I like about this promotion is it isn't a case where they're forcing you to purchase something that you don't need. I want to think of a household that doesn't need cornflakes, cereal, that doesn't need milk, or doesn't need a box of orange juice? Who doesn't? Which household doesn't need that?
Well, I don't know, but if you're in that household, please let us know.
Well, if you don't need it, what you could do though is give Camille and I the $20. Let us go shop for.
I think that would be bad if, me trying to, tell y'all and I win the store for myself. Nah, I can't do that.
Problems. But you don't, real problems. Unfortunately, you don't qualify. So we're not going to worry about that. We're not going to worry about that.
No, we're not. But I'm enthusiastic about it. Because as I said before, it's easy to spend $20.
Right.
But why not spend $20 on something that you might get greater returns on? Right? So I just want to thank our friend at Bryden and Miners. They have come through, and we are enthusiastic about the collaboration, and everyone else should be as well. 20
years and counting, tireless,
yes.
Of course, timely service, everything, top quality service being provided there by Real Value IGA. The promotion is on, and the draw takes place on the 17th. Spend $20 or more.
Well, it ends on the 17th, and the draw will take place on the 18th.
Always something exciting.
Always something exciting. Of course, let's move on to our product of the week this week. We have Dawn dishwashing liquid, and this one is the New Zealand Spring. Regular price is $20.45. A special offer, we have it for $18.45. A savings of $2.01. And if y'all don't know, Dawn is great for after you play jab and stuff. It gets rid of the oil. But let's not talk about jab. I digress.
I was wondering why you were even going there.
Because we're in July. After July just comes August. August is synonymous for.
You just couldn't help it. I know.
Moving on. Okay, so we do have a produce list this week. And for our farmers who are out there, remember we've just started back requesting more items of these. And the produce list goes as follows. We're looking for cauliflower, broccoli flour, sweet corn, yam, body beans, Kentucky beans, sweet potatoes, oranges, lime, lemons, and grapefruit. Right? And remember, you just call into the produce department. You call 439-2121. You ask to speak to produce or our purchasing department, and you tell them that you have the items, which I'm going to list again, and then they will schedule a time for you to come in. And remember, if you have to sell to our supermarket, you must have a farmer's ID. Unfortunately, we will not be accepting persons who just show up at the supermarket without a scheduled time and without a farmer's ID. Right? Remember, we have to be safe and conscious of what we have going on around us.
I agree.
So we ask that you call in first, let us know what your products is. You will say that we need them, and we will schedule you a time, and then you will come in with your products. Okay?
Great.
Right.
You did say you were going to give us the list again.
Again. I was like, what is Joseph looking at me like that? Okay. All right. So the produce list again is cauliflower, broccoli flour, sweet corn, yam, body beans, Kentucky bean, sweet potatoes, oranges, lemons, limes, and grapefruit. Okay? So we have a holiday coming up soon. Emancipation Day is always the first Monday in August. And just to let you guys know that we will be open from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Emancipation Day. All right. Hot foods. So as I said 2 weeks ago, since that was the last time I saw y'all, Hot Foods is now open for breakfast, and we are open for lunch as well.
Yummy.
And now we've just introduced WhatsApp ordering. So along with you sending us a list of your groceries so you don't have the hassle and bustle of coming into the supermarket, we also are accepting orders for lunch, for breakfast and lunch as well. So the number again is 404-2121, and you can make your orders for whether it be Hot Foods, breakfast, lunch, or do your grocery shopping.
Well. What have we not covered? So let's run through. So we're keeping our eyes on the clock. So the first thing, of course, the listeners and viewers need to remember is that there's a promotion that is on that allows them to win a 30-inch stainless steel Whirlpool stove. All you got to spend is
and a 7-piece pot set.
And then, of course, you just by spending $20 or more on some specific items, the cornflakes.
IGA cornflakes, Nestle UHT low-fat milk, and Nestle milk full cream milk, and also the Orchard 1 liter 100% orange juice.
Okay, and then there is for this week the Dawn dishwashing liquid. Product of the week was what price?
It's now $18.45, saving you $2.01, and that goes up until Sunday.
What size is that, though?
That's a 709 ml bottle, so that's about, I don't know, this big.
Nice family size bottle.
Nice family size bottle.
You can't go wrong with that.
You can't go wrong with that. But let me just mention as well, we currently have a fried chicken combo, 5 pieces for $20, and you get a free Coke with it, and also a Stroh's Bear. Or if you want juice is available for you as well. But I don't want to overwhelm you with information.
Right.
We have a Facebook page that you could always go to look for information. And once you're in the supermarket, we have announcements that are made as well. And everywhere you look, there's flyers and everything up. So if you want more information, you could always go on our Facebook page, our Instagram page, or you could also call us on 439-2121 and ask about the promotions as well.
Feel free to do that. Give them a call. Visit them down there at Mount Rouge. Or did we have the WhatsApp ordering for your groceries? How has that been going now?
I mean, it's still going. I mean, the drive is not as there as it once was since people are more free, but we still have quite a bit of orders going on.
Right.
People are still aware of the fact we have coronavirus ongoing, and with everything that's been happening recently, people are still not as free or as open to come to the supermarket. So the WhatsApp ordering is still there, it's still ongoing, and it's getting a lot of traction as well.
And you can use that WhatsApp portal, but there's a different number though to order your breakfast or hot meals. Can you do that?
Yeah, it's the same number, 409-2121. So you just when you're sending in your order, you just say, okay, I want to order breakfast from Hot Foods, I want to order lunch from Hot Foods, or I want to make my grocery list, right? So you just state what you're going to do, and then you do it.
Sounds like a whole lot of fun for me, and nothing to lose at all.
I'm pumped.
Excited and pumped, that's what it is. Oh, by the way, just to let you know that we're going to start restarting to rock the box from you know when. Yeah.
When?
Easy, Camellia, on national TV. Don't get overly excited.
No, but you have to know it's an exciting time, man.
So, okay, I'm sorry.
It's exciting.
So it's a week after.
And I'm back here. I'm back here.
You're back and in living colors.
Yes.
Back and in living colors. We rock the box. We start rocking the box from week after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, folks, that's Camellia. Details to follow. Rightly said. So, that's Camellia. Anything that you're supposed to have told me that you didn't before we run off?
Let me just reiterate the produce products that we're looking for.
Yes.
For the farmers, cauliflower, Morocco flour, sweet corn, yam, Bodie beans, Kentucky bean, sweet potatoes, oranges, lemons, limes, and grapefruit. So remember, the number to call is 439-2121. Ask to speak to our purchasing department and let them schedule a time for you to come in. Okay?
I'll check the boys on my farm to see what is it that we have that we can come and sell to you.
Yes.
Have a great one. Camellia Brown, marketing officer there, the Real Value Agency. Good to know that she's back from a little 2-week rest. And now we go full throttle, full steam ahead onto Christmas.
You know it.
Peace and love. JC loves you. Have a good one. Have a good one, Camellia. Well, this is where I say my so long farewells and goodbye to you. We're getting ready for the midday edition, the production for News and Current Affairs Department, and that news comes up at the top of the hour. Again, we want to encourage you to go to Real Value IGA, do your shopping. Promotion is on. You spend $20 or more, and you $20 or more, and you get a chance to literally win a 7-piece pot set and a 30-inch Whirlpool stove. What can go wrong with that? You get yourself some IGA cornflakes, you get yourself some milk, get yourself some orange juice, and you are good to go. So, of course, well done to Brandon and Miners that have seen the need to partner with Real Value IGA as they celebrate the 20th year of service to the Grenadian public. Also celebrating the anniversary is Huggins, 100 years of excellence and service to the Grenadian public. Certainly a lot there to look forward to as they celebrate with us in 2020. What a year that we are going to remember. So long, everybody. Peace and love. JC loves you. Again, the midday edition comes up at the top of the hour. We continue, of course, our hearts and prayers continue to go out to the families of the bereaved, those that lost loved ones, or in that tragic road accident yesterday, those, of course, who might be hospitalized. Our hearts and prayers continue to go out with you. So long, everybody. JC loves you. Until another time, peace and love. Be good to yourself. You remember the people you meet on the way up life's ladder, because you are indeed going to meet them on the way down. Have a great one.